to participate and be a part of this. And I can tell you stories about that one because I joined about 5 years later. But Jean was very active. She helped organize things. She toured the world with Paul, and they had a wonderful relationship. They didn't have many children, so that offered them time to do a lot of things. Next picture, please. There he is. After he found, this is as he's older. One more picture, please.
That's it. That's all there is.
This is a Rotary meeting. Does it look familiar? Kind of fun. Anyway, hopefully you are inspired by our founder. But you'll notice in this Rotary meeting, great round table meeting, but there are quite a few women on this side of the and in the back with their partners. So anyway, there's interesting tale about that, and I'll tell you that story another time. Okay?
Thank you, Dante. Her conversation with me was exactly as she said. I called her up and I said, Kathy, we need a club trainer because our district governor said we need one. And she said, well, what do they do? And I said, I have no idea. It's a brand new role being created by Rotary. And she goes, I'd love to help. So thank you, Kathy, for always agreeing to help. Any visiting Rotarians? Ricky, would you like to introduce one for us?
Who? Oh. Bob, stand up. Yes, we're doing visiting Rotarians from the Rotary Club of, in the category of, please welcome. Hey, Bob.
Any guests of Rotarian?
He kind of introduces himself, actually.
All right, President Bill, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'd like to introduce Alvin Mojica, and he's in the category of in-home care. His company is called Awe Care. Welcome.
I hope for the last time. Calling Joyce a visitor is kind of ridiculous, but this is her last visitation, I think, because her application is in for membership. Joyce.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Diego.
Diego's application was pending, please. So we have some new members for pretty soon. Yeah, I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay, you're skipping the video.
We are?
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
All right.
Okay, I said something at the beginning of my term that I wanted to present a Rotarian of the Month award to a Rotarian that did exceptional work, and Bill Wheeler can't win it every month, but he wants to. And there are so many hard workers in this club, it's really hard to pick any one person, but for the month of July, which we're awarding a little late here, it is awesome that I can present this to Ricky Walters for everything he does to this club. Technology work and just, being my partner and making this room happen and everything. So thank you very much, Ricky.
Thank you. Thank you.
And our Rotarian month for the month of August was a really, really easy pick for me because this gentleman started working on his role about 7 or 8 months before he actually assumed the role. And Mr. Mark Hannes said yes when I said, will you be the public image chair for a brand new committee that didn't exist? And he jumped in the deep end of the pool, and we are all benefiting from that. Our website is really great compared to how it was before, and we're getting involved in other social media. So thank you for everything you do, Mark. I have a pin to award you. So Larry, if you make 100 grand, I'll give you a pin, okay? On that spare run, can you get to work? 1,001 people, too. Okay, we had 2 red badge talks scheduled today, and then I found out at 12:15 today that one person was not going to make it. So we are going to do the second red badge, and we're going to do it a little bit out of order because she cannot stay till the end of the meeting. Brianna Armario, please come to the front of the room.
Thank you. Hopefully it's better than my introduction for Diego. I wrote what I'm going to say now because I feel like 3 to 5 minutes is a lot to memorize. Talking about yourself. That's fine.
Hold the mic up. Yeah, there you go.
Hello?
We just lost it.
Hello?
Dennis, need your help again. Just talk loud until he
I
gets
can
it on.
do that. I can talk loud. Hello. Oh, it's too loud.
We like it loud.
Okay, okay. School history. After graduating from High School here in Pleasanton, I attended Las Positas College for 2 years, which I really enjoyed. The professors at Las Positas were so helpful, and I felt like they were really there for the students. I had an amazing support system from all of my teachers and the college itself. After that, I transferred to UC Santa Barbara, and where I finished my other 2 years earning a bachelor's degree in international relations. Go Gauchos, yes, I know, you know, yeah, you can't beat a university sitting on the cliffside looking over the ocean, and then I miss it every day. Hobbies and interests. I love doing yoga. I enjoy hiking and spending time in the outdoors. I do oil painting, and I love to read and learn. I'm also a very avid traveler, as many of us are. My love for traveling started when my wonderful mother, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, sent me away on a 3-week trip through the UK at the age of 15. I think that is what inspired me to study Spanish in Spain while attending Las Positas College. I also spent a semester in Italy while attending UC Santa Barbara. After graduating college, I lived abroad for 1.5 years in New Zealand, the UK, and France. Family. Being away for so long, though, made me realize how happy being around my family makes me. I see my mom, my older brother, and my older sister almost every day. I also have a little sister that lives in LA. And my dad and his girlfriend are also a big part of my life. I love spending time with all of them, and they are all the people that make me laugh the most, which means the world to me. Work history. Now that I'm home, I have the privilege of doing real estate with my mom, Brianna, and Diego. I got my license when I was 18, about 7 years ago. Before real estate, I worked in restaurants and in the wine industry, and I also taught English online to children in China while living in the UK and France. What got me interested in joining the club? I joined Rotary because I have done volunteer work in the past, and I really loved it. When at Las Positas, I was involved in 3 different clubs. One was the Psi Beta Honor Society, where I was able to deepen my studies in psychology. I also was the vice president of the business club, which was very fascinating, and I learned a lot about entrepreneurship. But the club that had the biggest impact on me was being vice president of the Alpha Gamma Sigma Honor Society. This club focuses on community service, and it's where my passion for volunteering and helping others was strengthened. We did various types of volunteer work, from being involved in cancer awareness runs to raising money and collecting winter clothes and school supplies for children in need. I also volunteered at Maryland Elementary School for 2 years in 2 different kindergarten classes, and I fell in love with helping children. I love the feeling of knowing that I was able to make a positive impact in other people's lives. This made joining Rotary feel very natural for me because of my experience working with children. I was immediately drawn to the youth committee, which works with young adults in high school. I haven't had a chance to do much with the youth committee yet, though. As of late, Deanna and I have been keeping busy with the Spirit Run committee. I love being part of the Spirit Run committee because it hits close to home. I had the privilege of earning different scholarships while at Las Positas, and it is a great feeling to earn something like that. And I feel excited to be able to help young adults do the same and achieve the same feeling. Thank you.
before you sit down, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Brianna? Anything?
Oil painting of nature. I can show you. Yeah.
When you were traveling here, what were you doing?
Yeah, so in Spain and Italy, I was studying the language. Well, in Spain, Spanish, and in Italy, Italian, and Art Renaissance. After college, I got a working holiday visa to New Zealand for fun. So I traveled around for 2 months and then started working at a wine bar, which is also fun. And then, yeah, I moved to the UK because I met a guy. And so I followed him to the UK, and he's French, so then we moved to France. And so that's when I started teaching English online to children in China, because it's really hard to get a working visa in the UK and France. So yeah, that's where I started teaching English to children on via Zoom, which is great. The time difference too of Europe and China worked really well, because if I were to do that here, I'd have to do it like midnight to 6 a.m. But yeah. What's that? They're remodeling it right now. Yeah, so my office is my bedroom right now. My mom and I are right in front, and Diego. Yes, Diego? Oh. Diego, I don't want to talk about work right now. Slow down a bit though.
He's trying to set
If
you
anyone's
up.
looking to buy, contact me. Any other questions? Cool. Thank you, guys.
Janet, it's wonderful to have young people join our club. Next up, we're going to have Larry Ennis talk about spirit line.
Did he pay you for that?
Good afternoon. The last 3 or 4 weeks, you have had the privilege of listening to people on my committee talk about the Spirit Run, but unfortunately, you're stuck with me this time.
Unfortunately.
Thank you, Ricky. So, when is the Spirit Run, everyone?
October 31st, Halloween.
And what day is that?
Sunday.
Okay. And what does it coincide with?
Alameda County Fairgrounds.
Last day of the Alameda County Fair. And we are piggybacking on top of their publicity. We hope to get more people participating in the runs. But I want to make sure that you know who all my committee is, even though you've met 2 or 3 of them in the last couple of weeks, because my committee is doing an awesome job. I could never have anticipated the work that these people are putting in. So I'm going to introduce them, and please stand up and hold your applause till the end, please. First of all, it's Sensible San Filippo Spirit Run. John Sensible and Sensible San Filippo is our major sponsor, and we have a total of about $50,000 to $55,000 of sponsorships in at this point in time. So, some of the people are not here, some are, but I'm still going to introduce them because I want you to know their names. Bob Silva is our Alameda County Fair liaison, because he's the one that gave us the idea about joining up with forces with the Alameda County Fair, and he has paved the way for us to be able to communicate with them. He's not here today. Marjorie Wong Gilmore is a superstar and is my treasurer. And with all of her background, along with Kathy Alameda as well, has been a wealth of information and support for me. And while I'm there, Kathy Alameda and Claire are my registration co-chairs. There's Dennis. So, and Dennis has worked on registration for a long time, and Kathy and Marjorie, of course, were the chair people for 5 years. So they've done a wonderful job. Pete McDonald is my publicity chairman, and he has done a wonderful job with his committee of Mark Tanis, superstar, Steve McCoy Thompson, connected to PPIE. We're going to get a lot of results there. Jim Hansen's going to work on everything. And I know I'm missing some. Clark Pagan, gosh, he he's had to put up with me for the last 6 weeks or so. So they have done a wonderful job on the publicity committee. Sponsorships, the co-chairs are Brad Hurst and Gino Ashley, and they are the ones responsible for bringing in almost $55,000 so far. So, but on their committee is Jim Golseth and Deanna and Brianna Armario, and they've all done just a wonderful job. Lee Carlson is my parking lot venue chair. Lee was a past chairman of the Spirit Run 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So he's a wealth of information that's helped me out an awful lot. And we are going to start and stop at the Alameda County Fair, of course, nearby where the Stable Cafe is. So Lee has done a wonderful job. Course monitors, co-chaired by Julio Leong and Kirk McInich. And they are going to have a full team out along the course, and they're also going to be manning the parking lots. And so we're going to have some other issues with parking that we haven't had in the past. And Kurt and Julie are going to be doing that. Dick Stafford is my food and beverage chairman, and he had worked alongside me for many years when I was the chair. And Sandra Lepley is my kids challenge chairman. And Kathy Alameda and Dennis Clare, as I said, are my registration chairs. And last but not least, a new committee that I formed this year is the awards committee, who are going to be basically responsible for passing out the raffle prizes, passing out the runner awards, and judging the Halloween costumes. And I have two lovely women who have agreed to co-chair that, and that is Ginger Faith and Rubé Johnson. And oh, that's not Rubé next to James. What's going on here? I thought that was. She's a lot better looking than yeah. Both of them are, yes. So anyway, my request to you is if you have not signed up to be on a committee for the day of the race, keep the people's names in mind. In fact, I'm not trying to embarrass anyone. I'm just trying to get an idea. Is there anyone in this room that has not been assigned a race day assignment yet? You just raise your hand so we can get an idea. Okay, all right. So everyone's been assigned except one. Okay, great. Okay, so you committee chairs are doing your job. That's great. So anyway, Spirit Run, Halloween, October 31st. Thank you so much for your support.
Larry, thank you for your. There you go. Working again.
Batteries? Is it
You
batteries?
must have some bad batteries.
They're just old.
Okay. Brad, would you like to make an announcement about TTT? Just use your voice from there. You don't need to work those knees.
Yeah.
Next week is Thursday. There will be no meeting here. So Mike, we'll do at Val Vista Soccer Park, 5 to 7 next Thursday. We've invited our Rotarian colleagues from Pleasanton North to join us, and they are coming. So we look forward to seeing you next Thursday at Val Vista Soccer Park. Where is that? You go by Black Tie Transportation.
Bill, I have the microphone. Bill. Yeah. So in about 1/10 of a mile into the park, there's a large concession stand, 3 concrete soccer balls out right on the street. There's lots of parking. Behind the concession stand is a large trellis and a lot of picnic tables. So it's a great place, and there's no noise, no wind, because we're sheltered. So we'll look forward to seeing all of you next Thursday at 5 o'clock. In October, we have a special treat for the third Thursday. We're going to have an exclusive wine tasting at Dante Roberto Winery on Wetmoor Avenue in Livermore. And we'll meet the owners, we'll hear their success story, and transportation will be provided by Black Tie, $10 a person round trip or if you want to, you can drive there. So we need a minimum of 20 people and a maximum of 45 to take a bus. $10.
We know, Bill.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. Okay, thank you, Bill.
We're gonna meet at the off-track bench facility, because we'll probably have lunch there.
Thank you for that. Brad, thank you for that segue. We have one more meeting that will be in this room, and then we'll be moving. The price went from $0 to $1,400 a week to rent this room. So it was a kind of easy decision to move over to the turf club at the off-track Betty's because the price is $0 over there. And we'll have the same caterer, so we'll have this great food. We just have to pay a $60 cleaning.
Lunches aren't $0.
The lunches are the same price. We have a $60 cleaning fee for the new place per meeting. We'll just listen more information. I'll come about that. And then on the 5th, there is a 5th Thursday in this month. Wheeler's had enough time to talk today, so he doesn't get to talk about it, but it will be at Black Tie on the 5th Thursday. He'll tell you more about it at the 4th Thursday. Today, we are going to bring Marjorie up here and give us a foundation update. I don't know, Steve, are you talking as well?
No, I'm not.
Just what Marjorie is, okay.
Marjorie's gonna do a great job. Where is she? Oh, there she goes.
Larry, I don't know if Bob Tucknut is assigned yet for the race. He might find a job for him.
Yeah, something electrical.
Hi, everybody. I think when Bill asked me to get up to do this presentation, he said I had 3 minutes.
Oh, you got a lot more than that.
Yeah, I thought so. And I know it can be a little boring, so in another 20 minutes, you can wake up. In any case, we're going to go over what happened this last year. Not fun. Okay. Okay, so a brief history of the club and the foundation. First of all, the club was founded in July of 1965, and in 1992, we prepared our articles of incorporation. 1994, our foundation created its purpose, which was to initiate, promote, sponsor plans and activities, implement policies, and receive contributions, donations for educational purposes. In between 2003 and 2019, there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and some of it was in writing, some of it was not. And the foundation basically had an expansion of purposes change to where, for educational purposes, became to advance the educational, charitable, and cultural interests of the residents of the city of Pleasanton, California, and the surrounding area. Then in 2013, prior to 2013, I should say, we had a rule that our Spirit Run, which was our biggest and only fundraiser at the time, as far as I know, that the proceeds would be split 50-50 to provide scholarships and to build a corpus. So there was an intent to make sure that we would try and save money up to $1 million for that purpose of being able to totally fund perhaps future needs for scholarships and community grants and or wheelchairs and Rotary related organizations or purposes. So a poll was conducted back in 2013 with the club members, resulting in the desire to expand our impact in the community beyond the scholarships. Club directors and foundation trustees made the decision to allow a distribution of 100% net fundraising proceeds. So now we have the Spirit Run and the poker tournament, and the excess amount of 4% of the annual and cumulative balance of our corpus in any given year, with the start year being fiscal year end 2013. Further, the joint board's decisions were made to appropriate investment account earnings from the corpus for scholarships only. It was recognized that a bad investment year could result in no distributions from the corpus for several years in order to catch up with the cumulative watermark. Annual philanthropy expected to provide the largest allocation for scholarships, with secondary grants to be allocated for wheelchairs or Rotary-related causes, and community grants at the trustees' discretion from excess funds via fundraising. In the year 2020, we realized that we weren't quite up to snuff in our documentation, so we had the Fifth Amendment of the Policies and Procedures and Bylaws to take care of the clarification of funding, with the financial goal to increase our investment portfolio to a minimum of $1 million, with the foundation trustees to review annually, making adjustments as necessary to meet our foundation goals and objectives. So there are 4 different ways basically in achieving our financial goals: voluntary contributions from club membership and friends, our club to oversee and delegate fundraising events with the proceeds to benefit the foundation. Securities and other assets such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds may be gifted to the foundation by the club's membership and friends, and other assets can be offered as gifts but need to be approved by the foundation trustees. Lastly, a club member or friend of the club may name the foundation as a benefactor in their will, trust, charitable remainder trust, or life insurance policy upon the death of the benefactor or perpetually. So the effects, I'm sorry, you're right on top of it, yeah. Okay.
I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention.
So the effects of COVID and how we fared. So starting the new year last year, July 1, we were still sheltering in place. And following the inability of us to hold our poker tournament in May of 2020, our board realized that our club's annual fundraising events were in jeopardy. So we had a special club meeting that we called out, I believe it was in early August, to go over the foundation's history and present changes made to our policies and procedures from the prior year. Discuss the corpus not meeting the watermark at fiscal year end 6/30/2020, and perhaps maybe looking at our corpus as an emergency a fund that we could use still to help with our philanthropy. We received mixed feelings from the club, with a strong emphasis not to touch the corpus. So we also had a call to our club to rise above COVID. So there were a lot of very innovative Rotarians in our group. Basically, Todd Uticle and Beth Atterbury, who took over after Kathy and I from the Spirit Run, and I think they were running that for 4 or 5 years as well. Basically, they took on the task of chairing our virtual Spirit Run last year. And with the support of our past and a few new sponsors, aside from individual donations, we were able to net $29,000 approximately. We also had a little bolstering of our wheelchair efforts with the Athenauer estate requesting $20,000. Larry Annis, along with all of his other innovative ideas, on his birthday, which I believe was yesterday, right, Larry? Oh, yes, sorry. Happy belated birthday. And Bob Kenny did not miss his birthday though. Anyway, so he established a new scholarship fund and drive via Facebook, which none of us had really ever heard about, but in tribute to Senior Bob, and raised $6.2 thousand in scholarship money for a new scholarship in honor of Bob Athenauer. Okay, I did. Okay, so how did we fare? We had funding elements that were heavily reliant on members and friends of Rotary. Donations were received as follows. For our general operating fund, $1,800, scholarship donations of $27,000, wheelchair donations of $55.50, and that did not include the bequest. And then community grants and donor advised funds of $14,250. So, thank you, Ricky. Our 2020 philanthropy, as is shown on the chart here, whereas we, as trustees, determined that we would give, $30,000 to scholarships. The total amount that was funded with donations from members and individuals was $63,150. For wheelchairs, the foundation did not provide any funds for wheelchairs, but the individual donations along with the bequest, we got $25,550. Community grants, we did, it was probably, I think, January or so of last year, we did decide that there was a rebound in our corpus and that we could afford to go ahead and take some money out of there for the purposes of community grants. So $5,000 was taken from the foundation coffers and a total of $21,050 was given out in community grants. So residual funds in our general account are carried over from the fiscal year 2019 to cover our administrative costs, so we didn't have too much of a delta there. But for fiscal year 2020, we ended the year with the balance sheet showing about $118,489 in various accounts. We've got about 8 accounts now for all of our different things. 2 of them for fundraising and the rest are pretty much for projects or scholarships, what have you, wheelchairs. And then we did have some prepaid expenses from the Spirit Run that we paid out. So that's showing there as other current assets and the corpus of $796,019. So total assets of $916,818. With we feel very, very good about that. As far as liabilities, at this point, we have some accounts payables, and that primarily, as of June 30th, was for our accounting fees as a check on my work. And that person who does that is Audrey Horney for our foundation. And then we have Beth Atterbury, who is no longer a member, but she has graciously agreed to do our tax return for last year. So this will be the second year that she's done that for us. So basically, with very little in liabilities, again, we've got some pretty good equity of about $916,000. Okay, moving on to revenues and expenses. This is a little breakdown here of our fundraisers, basically Spirit Run here. Without having a lot of the costs that we've had in the past. So t-shirts cost a lot, waste management costs a lot. There are a lot of things that go into the mix when we have a real run. Last year being a virtual run, it was the masks. So I don't know if any of you saw the masks, but what it looked like. And there were a number of sponsors that did get their masks, as well as individuals who had signed up for the race. And I still have a few more for those who didn't pick them up. So come see me if you didn't get one. And you don't. And then the poker event, obviously, we didn't have anything going on there, but from before we had paid out $200 for the room with the city of Pleasanton at the Veterans Hall, and they gave it back. So that's why you see $200 there. Okay, so sources and uses of funds. Generally, we've got the main accounts of our general operating account, scholarships, community grants, wheelchairs, and we added a new one this year or last year called the WASH account. And so you can see donations Donations were shown at $2,900 for the general account with some administrative expenses. We had a little bit of a loss, but because we had some investment gains and a little bit of interest income, we netted out $23,567 there. Excuse me, scholarships, you'll see we took in donations of $32,912 and we allocated $51,800. So it does show a negative there, but believe me, the money is in the bank there to pay for it. We have community grants, $14,450 was received again in contributions, donations out were $21,050, and so we had negative net proceeds of $65,998. Wheelchairs, $26,358 with the drives that were made by Larry, as well as the bequest, gave us $26,358 with donations out of $42,000. So I believe that paid for 2 containers. I'm not sure, Larry, you're on the wheelchair committee, right? Was that 2 containers? Oh, that 1 container. So negative $15,006 showing there, but again, they do have money in the bank. And the wash account, which was new, had $10,025 with the Nigeria project, the cost of $71.78 wired out to Nigeria, to our club, Rotary sister club there. And net revenues are $27.58. So overall, last year, and this was during the year of COVID, so I have to applaud and congratulate everyone in this room for all of the efforts to get here. We had about $107,000 in total revenues, with $120,000 in total expenses, negative 10, but overall, because again, we have the investment gains, net positive of about 14,300. Okay, so the question, what's happening with the corpus at the end of this year or at the end of the last year? So you go to the corpus and look at the watermark. Every year we're supposed to cumulatively add 4% to that mark. So when you look at the dates here, you'll see that the second column, which is the watermark, is where we're supposed to be based on that 4% rise every year. At the end of June 30th, 2021, we had 829,100 versus the watermark of 688,333. That already meets the watermark for June 30th of 2025. So we're in really good shape, but more importantly, it does mean that we do have an excess of about 140,800 to be able to maybe utilize for our philanthropy this year.
Wow.
So the last or the next little thing is, so I believe Steve presented the baseball giving chart last week, and I didn't put it in this, but I wanted to focus mainly on our general operating account, which was one of those arms that was indicated in that baseball schematic. Our general operating account can probably pull from the corpus if we want, but ever since I've been in Rotary, it's always been a matter of every year you look to give, you know, our 350 to the club, 100 to our foundation, and 100 to TRF or Rotary International. I know that the schematic that was presented by Steve last week also included a new element with the wash. Those are suggested levels of giving. We would love to see if every Rotarian in our club was able to donate $100 every year to our foundation. If not, then we probably have to look at our coffers to go back into to pull monies for operating. So just to give you an idea, if we had 50 members in the club, each giving $100, we'd be able to cover our operating costs for the foundation operating account. So That all said, did I bore anybody yet? Okay, so I just wanted to say this, that there are many aspects to Rotary service, and while not everybody has the financial needs, perhaps to fulfill the needs of our club, just as important to funding is the willingness to get involved, to utilize our skills, enjoy our fellowship, and have fun. So that on behalf of the trustees of the Rotary Club of Pleasanton Foundation, we appreciate your enthusiasm, support, dedication, hard work, and commitment. Everything that continues to keep us proud. Thank you.
Hi, it's Steve again. Good. I think Vanessa's back, so if you could patch me through, that'd be great.
It's quite possible that they hit $1 million this year with after the fundraising is done. Let's see if we can give away some money, Dennis. $0929. $0929. I got my glasses on. Yeah. Let's try another one. 0920. Julio. All right. We need to pull one more. $0921. Probably Julio again. If it was 0920. Somebody else has to buy tickets next time, not just Julio. All right. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.